talk with Luis again. Do you know that you're the first person to be like you're the first repeat visitor that we've had? Repeat offender.
Oh,
yes.
Wait, somebody just popped in. Hello, somebody. Okay, so yeah, no, hopefully not the last time that I'm coming in.
Yeah, hopefully not. I don't know. Like the more that I get, so our topic is how to say no to things and how to like stop, I guess, overwhelming ourselves and piling stuff on. And I've started to actually wonder, like, does filming, like I've already started, like instead of doing reset videos twice a month, I'm like, I'm just gonna do it once a month and try to back off. And now I'm starting to have this like conflict in my head. Like, is this still bringing me joy? Is this still my passion project? Because back when it started, I wanted to help other people feel better in their teaching careers. And it's like, I don't know how to make people feel better when I'm having trouble making myself feel better. Do you know what I mean?
I totally get you, and I've been facing some of the same stuff because I enjoy helping people out, and saying no for me is like stopping some of that enjoyment. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I realize that I do have to say no to stuff because it's affecting me in either what pays the bills or like my real life. So those things and those priorities. I don't, it's throwing stuff out of whack, and trying to get into whack is complicated.
Get into whack.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, okay. So I have kind of a tech question for you that's actually related to this. And I don't know if you know the answer, but it's something I've been thinking about. I know. One of the things I've heard as I've listened to like other podcasts and articles and things is that like setting boundaries is really important and a good way to kind of like say no, especially if you're working from home and it's hard to like have a start and an end of the school day and you're getting emails at all times of the day or texts, and it's hard to like set those work-life boundaries. There isn't, like, correct me if I'm wrong, in Gmail, is there a way to set a repeating like out of office hours so that every day after like 4 o'clock, if somebody were to email me, they would just get an auto reply that says, hey, my office hours are this to this. I'll try to get, back to you as soon as possible. So you know what I mean? Like a parent emails you. Is there such a thing?
I do know calendar does have that. Like you can set aside like a block of time. These are my work hours, and anything above, outside of that is not to be used. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Gmail does that. It would be at least an interesting suggestion.
It would be nice because I think it's one thing to like set these boundaries for yourself, but if you haven't been adhering to them in the past, which I know I definitely haven't, you have to be able to kind of repeat it and keep telling people so that they understand, because you almost have to train yourself, but also other people to like not expect an answer from you. And I think having those like automated systems would be really helpful. So if there was a way, like, especially like if you don't hear from a parent very often, it's not like you're hearing from them all the time, but as long as they know like, cool, I got your message. I'm going to get, on this tomorrow morning when I get back into the building.
Not only that, but since we have been working from home mostly, and you're not supposed to be going out and about, and it's not like they're gonna call you from work and you're gonna be suddenly at the supermarket.
Yeah.
So they'll expect you to be home, and since you're home anyway and you're not doing anything else, you should be available in the minds of some people. You shouldn't. Yeah. But we do know of bosses that think that since you're home and you're not doing anything else, you might as well be working for school.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and that just having that, if you could impose it by software and just no matter what happens, you'll get that back. That would be really nice. I am a really big believer in the schedule send in Gmail. Because I will, if somebody does, I do have parents that will write at odd hours of the night. And if I'm up, I will answer, but I'll make it so that they'll receive it the next day at a reasonable time so that it doesn't look like I'm up at 10 or 11 or whatever answering emails. I am, but they won't see it.
That's a great idea. I was thinking that would work good for weekends too. Because I know like we don't want to work on the weekend, but like I would be lying if I didn't say sometimes it's Sunday and I'm like trying to finalize those lesson plans and get them into Google Classroom, and I'll schedule those to post. But if you're like just fielding a few little, Gmail's like swatting flies or whatever, scheduling that for like Monday morning, it's like, oh, that would be great.
That and snoozing stuff. Snoozing stuff is also like awesome because you just defer it to the next day, the next week, or you set a time, and it's wonderful. So it helps me keep myself more organized. And then the other thing I'm doing is I am no longer taking requests orally. If you need me to do something, write me an email.
Send me an email. I tell it to students all the time because I know they're like, I turned in that thing. Can you check it? And I'm like, yes, I can, but send me an email. And I always I go, because I will forget. I will walk away and 3 seconds later, poof, it'll be gone. I do. I've actually said that to them.
And then the other thing is that people here love to use WhatsApp on our phones because we don't believe in texting. We will do WhatsApp, but not texts. And then they'll write me on WhatsApp and I'll say, no, please email, because WhatsApp, it'll go, it'll get lost amongst the other hundreds of messages that we receive a day.
That's really hard too, because I find that so you're saying like WhatsApp versus texting, then we have like Google Chat that comes up, and then I'm trying to think of all the other things. I got people that'll contact me on Messenger, even though I loathe Facebook and I tell people no Facebook, still Messenger. You can get Twitter, messages, everything. So sometimes I'll try to remember something and I'm like, where was I talking to them on? And it'll take me forever just to search and try to figure out where it was.
And not to speak of the nightmare that is Hangouts and chat, because they're both there, but they aren't. So I'll get notified twice for the same message, one on Hangouts, one on chat, because yes, it happens just everywhere.
I'm like, come on, Google, just kill one or the other. Don't keep them hanging, because it's just just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then the other one that I'm trying to impose at work is, I set up my free time, my office hours, and my lunchtime in calendar. If you want to talk to me or if you want to meet, look at calendar first. Don't ask me because it's already there.
I feel like that's something that I could definitely improve on and work on more. And I feel like setting boundaries for yourself is maybe an easier first step than trying to have to say no to people and assert yourself. I almost feel like the boundary thing, it's like a good first step, but you do want to eventually get to saying no. But how do you say no to things if you constantly have that fear of missing out? Have you been able to tackle that before?
I'd love to say that yes, that I'm an expert in saying no to stuff, but I have a really, really hard time. I'm wired to try and help people out. So sometimes I'll commit and then I'll notice that either I'm in the weeds or I don't have enough time to do whatever it is that needs to be done. And then if it's for work, what I tend to do is I'll say yes, but the timeline will be insane. So I need this spreadsheet to do whatever. Okay, we'll talk in 2 weeks. And I know that I might be able to get it done in an hour, but I want to give myself the time to, there's two things, and this is going to sound horrible, but sometimes I don't want people to know how easy it really is, so they won't overburden me asking me for the same stuff over and over and over and over, and just letting them know, I'm going to take a week, so we'll talk in a week, just so they don't ask for the same thing 3 times in a row.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense, because if you do something quickly, they're likely to ask you for 3 more things that week. But if you're working on that one thing the whole week, it's that's way less work. So that makes sense.
But that sounds like I'm trying to look busier than I am. And it's not that.
No, I totally get. Sometimes I feel like I have 2 full-time jobs. I have one full-time job that's teaching, and then I have one full-time job that's just helping with all these other things. Because and ultimately, the part that stinks is that I think that I get more joy. I feel more useful in helping other people. Not that I don't love kids and not that I don't love teaching. I do like that. But I like the idea that I can affect, by me helping a teacher, I'm helping more kids than I would be just in a classroom by myself. So I genuinely like helping other people. But then what happens is you just get so bogged down with these other things to do. And then you become known as the helper person. So you get asked to do those other work things. And it's just it becomes this whole
Yeah, well, it happened to me once. I got called up to one of the higher ups in school, and they were planning on giving me a dressing down because you're not, you're taking a long time to do this, and you're taking a long time to do that, and you're handing in your planning not on time, and stuff that happens to all of us, even the best ones. And then I told her, yeah, I know, I admit it, I am not the most diligent person handing in my lesson plans, but do you recall that you also asked me to do this and this and this and this and this? And none of those are in the job description. But without those things, somebody said either nobody has the skills or the knowledge to do them, or it would take like awfully long. So please understand that it's not that I don't want to hand in my lesson plans or whatever on time. It's just that there's other stuff that you've been asking of me that you seem to forget. Yeah. And then that was more or less the conversation. She said, you know what? You're right. I did not recall that you also have these ancillary responsibilities that have been laid down on you, but are not part of your job description, but nobody else does them. So yeah.
That's so cool that you have a leader that was willing to hear it and admit to it. Well, even a little bit, because some of us just have leaders or bosses. I know, you hear from people that just like never want to admit when they're wrong, and they just double down on their wrongness, and their response would have been like, well, I don't care. You're a professional and you should be able to do and that sucks. I mean, that just beats down on you, especially if you have I have a very hardcore section in the community where I teach that just thinks that we're dirt and we're garbage, and they're very vocal about it. And I can't help but think that if they really thought that we were that terrible, why would you want me teaching your kids? And I think that that's why I think it comes full circle. I think that we become teachers because we want to help, regardless of we know we're going into it, we know it's going to be difficult, we know that the pay might not be great, we want to help. And then we run into these issues where, because we're the type of people we are and we want to help and we're these empathetic people, then we get all these other tasks put upon us, and we don't know how to say no, and we don't know how to say, we just it feels almost like we're drowning ourselves sometimes. I don't know.
It's I was talking about that earlier this morning. It's a vocation. It's not a profession, because you're not in it for the money. If you go into education for the money, it's because you're going to set up a university or something weird. If you're in it because you like it, because you love the profession, and then the moment you stop loving it is this moment that you start having troubles with just being here. If you're gonna come to school and you're gonna be a grouch all day because you don't want to be there, it's better that you not be there, because it's affecting everyone.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
And then everybody, no one's exempt from having a bad day, because everybody has a bad day. But one thing is to having a couple of bad days. Another thing is just you're fed up. You don't know what you're doing here. It's better to admit it, or it's really hard, because it goes to staff room, it goes to mental health, and all of this is related.
Yeah, I mean, and if you're the teacher and you're not happy, that does translate to students, because they can tell if you're enthusiastic about something, they can tell if your heart is in something, or if it's not. I mean, they're very perceptive. They can pick up on those things,
and they can tell if your enthusiasm is fake.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't you? You've got your Twitter handle on your screen there, right? Look, I got to point. I'm that way. Yeah. So if people want to chat about education in Colombia, and, private schools and public schools, and but
it's one of those things that I tell people all the time. Even though we're in different countries and we're different cultures, and of course different languages, education at the root of it is the same no matter where you are. All the issues you face are okay, sometimes they're really horrible, but most of the issues you face day to day in a school, you'll see them everywhere, no matter the amount of money that's involved, no matter the type of school, no matter where you are, you're gonna see the same issues.
But our goals are all the same too. In education. We're all striving for the same thing, essentially. So
we want to make the world a better, smaller place, and that's the easiest way to do it.
Be sure to subscribe to the Reset EDU channel for the latest project updates and episodes. If you're interested in a reset for your own classroom, be sure to fill out the form at bit.ly/resetedu. Thank you for watching.